But I do know that I need to respect the fact that she has a comfort animal. And remember, I've met her how many times? 3 times by this point. And I don't see anything, there was no clue. If she walked in with a CNI dog, we could have already had this conversation, right? But she didn't. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is interesting. Now she's telling me that she needs this dog, and I don't see any reason for her to need this dog. So I'm in a really kind of a precarious situation. I asked this question. Fortunately, I worded it in a legal way, and basically was, well, what service does that dog perform? Can I legally ask her that question? I actually can. Now, if she walked in with a CNI dog, could I have asked her the exact same question? No. If she walks in with a CNI dog, isn't the need obvious? The only reason I could legally ask her this question is because the need was not obvious. Okay? So I asked her. Now, remember, I can't ask her about her health condition. You know, tell me more, bring me your file, let me look and see what's going on. She did open up to me about this, though, and as it turned out, the dog was a seizure dog. She has seizures, and the dog helped her from this standpoint. I'm still confused. Okay, I don't understand. What does the dog do? Well, I didn't know if the dog might dial 911 or something like that. She didn't find that amusing. But anyway, I asked her, well, what does the dog do? And what the dog does is senses changes in her chemical makeup or composition or whatever, and then alerts her that she's getting ready to have a seizure. That way she can call her backup support or whatever. And again, I'm still confused. I'm like, ma'am, can you get a note from your doctor on this? And she did. She brought a note from her doctor again, not saying that what her condition is, but this dog was, in fact, something that they advised for her condition. And the minute that I got that note from the doctor, what did I do? I said, you are welcome, and your little dog too. You know,
What was the breed of the dog?
it was a Chihuahua. It was a Chihuahua. Yeah, when she told me that, I said, you know what I said? When she told me it was a Chihuahua, I said, well, we don't have a policy against rats, so you can have Chihuahua. Most useless dog in the world. There has never been a good Chihuahua.
How do you deal with the other residents, though, that are like this?
Okay. Let me go back to my story just real quickly and say this. You understand what I had to do was make a reasonable accommodation. I had a policy that said no dogs, but the reasonable accommodation was to allow her to have the animal. It was a covered animal. The doctor said so. So Erica says, well, let's talk about this concept of reasonable. What's reasonable in this particular case? Well, what's reasonable is, could I require that she show me that this dog has its shots? Yeah, if you're going to have a dog in here, regardless, you need to make sure he's had his appropriate shots, etc., etc. What if that dog had been vicious to some of my other tenants? We're getting beyond reasonable at this point. Fortunately, most comfort animals are not going to be vicious towards others. Hey, listen to this. This is something you didn't know. Could I require her to have that dog certified by some organization? No. Not in fair housing. Not in fair housing, you can't. Later, when we talk about American with Disabilities Act, we are talking about certified animals, service animals. But when it comes to fair housing, there is no certification required. The question is there a need? And in this case, because of the preponderance of the evidence, I was able to ask her about what that dog did. And once the doctor said she needed this dog, I was like, she's absolutely welcome at this point. When others ask questions about it, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Okay?
I just have a question with that, because working in a restaurant, when people bring in their service dogs, I've been told by multiple bosses and corporations that we can't even ask.
No, you shouldn't.
Well, yeah, so how does that change? I mean, you asked why she needed it. I was told I should never ask that.
The reason that I was able to ask is there was no apparent need for the animal.
Okay.
Okay? Your bosses are probably being a little bit overly conservative, but what they're doing is, just like I would do, is I don't allow anyone other than the owner to ask those questions. If I feel like someone is bullying the laws on that, I might would ask if there was not, but I would not allow my wait staff to do it. Okay? And I think that's probably what their policy is, and that's the safe way to go. Does it allow for some abuse in the system? I mean, it clearly does. Some people will take advantage of this, but you just have to be so careful and know what your rights as a landlord are. Yeah.
Does federal fair housing apply to the
No, but later we'll talk about ADA, and remember the definition of disability is the same under ADA as it is under a fair housing. Okay, great questions, great questions. Reasonable accommodations. I changed my rule. When we get back from break, I will talk a little bit about reasonable modification. Do you have a quick, Morgan?
I was just gonna say, we were talking about housing, and you were saying, sale and rental.
Yes.
This is strictly like leases, this is not vacation rentals or anything like that. Or does it?
Now, the fair housing would apply to vacation rentals as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's break on that. We'll come